I look at it.
So I'm excited to watch today. You've got
Some real this is a
tight ends and D-back.
it's a really
I almost
good
did it again. DBs. I've got it in my head now. Tight ends and
That's because you
DBs.
have a potty mouth.
No.
Yeah. And your only other off switch is to literally say Dean Blandino. If you think anything else, you're going the other way. This is how your mind works. I know the Tourette's thing with Joe, it's real.
Yeah, it is.
That's why you say it. It just instinctively closely rolls off the tongue.
I'm just a big Diamondbacks fan.
No, it's UNRP.
You know, I was a big like Tony Womack. You know,
what number did he wear? 6?
2, I think. I believe Tony Womack was a 2.
Google.
We're gonna get on the Google machine here.
If he wore number 6, you leave me alone for the rest of my life.
Forever?
I mean, that would be the best pull ever.
What do I get if he wore number 2?
Oh, the fact you're right. You brought him up.
All right, fair.
You got to go to images. Again, slow-mo.
We're both wrong.
What do you wear?
51, 5, 5, 5, 5, 4,
5,
12, 15, 1.
5, 5, 5.
So we both missed. That's all right.
Yeah, I've got that clip for you.
What's that? What do you got?
We're out here. This is the field where the magic happens.
Betting Bites with Damon Betting.
That's where that came from.
It's where the magic happens.
We're walking out under the tunnel, and he's like, you got to be blank, blanking me. It's like, whoa, easy.
See, I'm not like that. I'm just a big Craig Counsell guy. Luis Gonzalez?
I was happy to see Milwaukee recover.
Steve Finley?
With him moving. And I do think the Cubs are going to be good this year.
Mark Grace?
No, Counsell. Matt going from the Brewers to the Cubs.
Oh.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
I mean, that seems harsh.
Who's your tight end one?
Byung-Hyun Kim?
Isn't it? What did you say his first name was?
Byung?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think
this would be in there. I thought you said Hung Young.
No, Byung-Hyun. Byung-Hyun Kim. I think. Byung-Young? Shoot.
Like the sauce?
No, that's Yum Yum.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, Byung-Hyun Kim.
Yeah, I wanted you to know that there was a B in there. I thought you said Hung Kim. And I was like, who?
Byung-Hyun Kim.
Don't. The whole rolling off. No.
Uruguay?
No.
That's fine.
Relax.
That's one of the, like, he had one of the wilder World Series.
Kim?
Yeah, because he blew those games late, and then they, like, still had to roll him out there. And although instead they're just like, hey, we're just going to throw Randy Johnson for the closer this time.
You've experienced this, but have you ever had to cheer for Kenley Jansen?
Yes, I have.
Okay, you could.
We will embrace it.
Insert that same thing.
Him?
Blew a couple games, and then you got to keep rolling them out there.
Keep rock. We're out here, right?
And he just got re-signed. Enjoy that.
Not with us.
I know.
Thank God.
Whoa. Kim is a catcher. Relax.
No, like, I appreciate that he had a really nice career for a while. I think we're past that point. You guys keep sending us washed up, really good closers. Like, we had the Eric Gagne experience, too. Was not helping me out at all.
So,
anyway, my tight end one?
Yeah. Who's your tight end?
I mean, you're basically talking about two guys, right? It's either Loveland or Warren, yeah. So either Michigan or Penn State.
Do you like Arroyo?
Not to the same level.
I think he may test incredible.
You think so?
God, he diced the Shrine Bowl up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to fight you on him testing well, but if I'm it's for me, it's Loveland or Warren. I think I like Warren.
I'm still mad at Loveland because, again, I've said this. Mm-hmm. Nebraska was his coming out party.
Yeah. I think I like Warren better. I think.
Do more things?
Yeah, it can do more things. And I think he's a little bigger, like a little frame's a little bigger. I think he might be a little more versatile in, like, if you're asking him to do some, like, full tight end responsibilities.
I don't know how athletic this group will be.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how well they're going to test.
I think Warren's athletic.
I think so. I don't know what the numbers are going to say. I think he's very functional football athletic.
Yeah, he can do a lot of different things.
Yeah. I think that about a lot of tight ends, though. Like, there's some real freaky guys for sure, but I think a lot of the super productive guys, I don't look at.
This is a good, on paper, it seems like a good tight end draft.
I would think so. Like, you've got good productive guys in this draft. Do you like Taylor from LSU at all?
Yes, I do. Who, by the way, has gotten so much better.
Mm-hmm. If you're like putting
And he had a good enough camp
Mhm.
where he's like, okay, you can go home.
Yeah.
He wasn't there a year ago.
Yeah.
He's gotten a ton better.
You really put my feet to the fire.
I think he was only at the shrine for a day or two.
Yeah.
And like showed out and they're like, yeah, you're good.
Yeah. Like if you really put me to it, I probably take Taylor over Arroyo personally.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I like Taylor a lot.
I don't think I would. I wouldn't arm wrestle over it though.
Like I just honestly, it's just a vibe thing. But like just watching them, I like Taylor a little bit better. I don't have a really good reason.
Speaking of arm wrestle, Reacher.
Yeah,
drops an episode today.
You excited?
Yeah,
more excited for Reacher or to see what Fidone runs?
Fidone, because I want to be right.
That he's going to test well?
No, that he would get paid to play football.
Oh yeah, sure. So
I'm just
no, you're right. I mean,
people hate on that guy.
Yeah,
and they have for a long time.
Yeah.
So I want.
And listen, I'll speak to that a little bit.
I'm riding with that guy.
I think there was a big frustration with how he was used.
Probably.
I think he was.
I think smart people that won't want to be right will admit that.
Yeah.
I think, but there is a good portion of people that are just like, they just won't think well of him. I don't know if it was so you know what? I do know what it is. And he earned some of it, right? When he clapped back at his own fan base.
Sure.
Right. And early on, he was a guy that would tell you what he was thinking on social media.
Yep.
I just don't think he ever really endeared himself.
Sure.
But I'm just telling you, and I've said this from the jump, and maybe it's because I'm biased and I know him. If I had to go compete at something and I wanted to win, I'm right. I'm picking that guy.
Yeah, he's a psycho. In a good way.
He's relentless.
Yeah. So, and that's why Rule likes him.
He's just, and they're a lot alike.
Yeah.
Like, quiet as kept, their personalities are very similar.
And he said that. Rule said as much. I think part of it, so there's two things with Fidone. One, I think you're right. He never really endeared himself personality-wise to the fan base. I do think the lack of production when you kind of act that way sometimes works against you.
Yeah, because people will say, well, you better be good. And it's like those two things, being competitive and not putting up with a bunch of BS and speaking your mind, does not always have to come with being a certain level of achievement.
No, but we give people a lot more leeway when they achieve at a high level to say what they want.
But that's an us thing.
It is. But
it's like this. It's like a made up social rule.
It is. But if we're talking about why he's perceived the way he is, that's a part of it, right? Yeah. And obviously, again, we've talked about this with some other guys, but the accolades he had coming in also kind of worked against him.
Yeah. Because
you have a certain level of expectation for a guy that is touted the way. I mean, he was the highest ranked tight end in his class. Like, there is a certain level of expectation there. And that kind of worked against him when he got off to the slow start with injuries. I think the other thing is, I think people had a hard time separating whether or not the struggles we saw from Fidone this year were because he was being asked to do things that weren't in his strong suit, or if he just wasn't that guy anymore. I genuinely think people couldn't tell the difference. And I don't know, full disclosure, there was times I probably couldn't tell either. Because when you're asking a guy that I don't know was in his strong suit to take kind of these little tight end swing passes all the time, that didn't really seem to be the best place to use him. And he was used there a lot, and I think people got really frustrated with that. And I think it kind of got rolled into a frustration with Marcus Satterfield. And it all sort of became this one big ball of discontent. And we didn't really take the time to separate out who or why. I think that was a big thing with Fidone. And so Fidone kind of just got lumped in with some of the stuff we were just unhappy about.
Where did you put Helm in there? Because we had to watch him on television a lot.
Helm's pretty good.
People. I thought the early drops really hurt Texas in that one.
They did. I mean, he's not pushing Loveland or Warren for sure in my mind. He's probably closer in that Arroyo Taylor group for me. I still think I like Taylor better. I think, but again, that's more of just a gut reaction thing. I don't know that I have a good reason, except for when I watch him, I think he's better. And I don't know. I mean, maybe that's enough. But when I watch him, I think Taylor's better.
I can't wait because I think people will have a chance to actually change some narratives.
Yeah.
We'll see, because I think Fidone is a little bit better of a natural pass catcher
Sure.
than we gave him credit for.
And that's one of the things I got frustrated with because I thought he could have been really useful in those intermediate passing game where he would have shined doing that.
Yeah.
One thing, I am so rooting for Thomas Fidone today because that's my guy, man. Like I've been riding with that guy since Lewis Central. I hope he just kills it today, and I think he will because he did. That's why he was as highly touted out of high school. All those testing numbers, he usually just kills that stuff.
You and me both, man. I just wish the fan base would have got a chance to kind of embrace him on a different level without kind of the vitriol and the pushback. And I said it. He's kind of he played into it,
right? And that's his personality. And frankly, if that guy doesn't hurt his knee twice, he would have killed it. Like he would have been amazing, and people wouldn't have hated him. He would have produced way more if take that guy without the injuries. He would have been the guy. So people need to probably just back up a little bit and think about, he blew his knee twice. Like
protective, Jerome Sauter.
I
like that.
That's Mike Sauter, Hurrdat Sports, NAB Prep. DB, I want to get back to something that Sauter said at the end there because. Listen.
Your mood changed.
Listen. Okay, we can root for Thomas Fidone, right? I'm rooting for Thomas Fidone. I don't know him. I've never spoke to him. I don't know him personally at all. I have no vested interest in Thomas Fidone, but he's a kid from Nebraska. The better he does at the combine, the better Nebraska looks, right? That's a pretty simple equation for me.
Yeah.
I want people from Nebraska to do well because that means Nebraska can do better in the future. But let's not sit here we can't sit here and pretend the injuries didn't happen. We can't I get Mike is closer to the situation than most. I know you're closer to the situation than most as well, right? But we can't sit here and be like, oh, well, if he didn't blow out his knee twice, but he did. Like that matters in the course of how a guy's career is perceived. Yeah. We can't just pretend like that didn't happen. And I also think it's exaggerating to say that most Nebraska fans hate Thomas Fidone. There is a section that has a weird vitriol for him. I recognize that. I think most people were just disappointed that we didn't ever get to see the guy we thought we were getting.
I think that's fair.
Right?
I think that's fair. Like I don't want to broad brush the sentiment. It's just that he never got a chance to, and it's the word that I'm not. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Jerome's thing is his thing, and
that's fine.
And he invested a lot early.
He did
in that family, so I recognize that. That's a set apart.
Yeah,
he's got the special relationship with those guys. What I'm saying though is, I said it's a shame that he didn't get a chance to endear himself.
100%.
That endear is the word that I use.
Yes, you did,
because of the rocky start.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, he was the guy that other tight ends would something would be on Twitter and he would respond.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, but you also don't get, well, you don't get that his life without him in it. Mm-hmm. It's a bad analogy, but what I'm saying is it's the same, that clapback stuff on social media and
it's the same thing that makes him super competitive.
It's why he's at the combine.
100%. Yeah. I get it.
Without his mentality,
mm-hmm.
you had to be shocked
that he got the invite.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was pretty stunned. I was stunned that he got one and Nash didn't. Fair.
Yeah. I think
that's surprising.
I think most people would.
That's surprising, considering how their careers went. That's surprising.
And so but he needs to be who he is to put himself in position for what he's doing today.
100%. And I appreciate that about him. I appreciate that he's overcome a lot. But I don't think you can sit here and be like, oh, Nebraska fans should have their hands slapped for being disappointed in how his career went. I bet he's disappointed in how his career went. This didn't go the way he wanted it to go, right? There's no way. And so I do wish him the best. I hope he has a great day today. I hope he runs something that the second number starts with a 5, right? 4.5 something would be an incredible time.
That would be incredible.
It would, right?
I think I'm going to peg him.
I don't even think he needs to.
I'm going to peg him.
But that'd be great.
I'm going to go.
You going to put it out there?
I'm going to go 4.68.
Which would be terrific.
I'm going to go 4.68.
Listen, if he runs in the 4.6s, that's a really good time. And I think that'll make him some money. If he can do And I don't know. I really don't know. I have no frame of reference for what his speed is like now, right? If he can do even, let's say, a 4.59 instead of like
I just wonder what he's going to weigh in.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting too.
I don't know if I've seen any numbers yet officially. They should be out. They're
They
obviously
should be.
They're posted because of today.
Yeah, they should be. They should be getting the numbers here in just a second and have them public. But like, I think it's a little disingenuous to paint with such a broad brush. I don't think most Nebraska fans hate Thomas Fidone. I would say that number is incredibly small. And those people are probably not the people I want to talk to anyway.
Yeah, and but to Sauter's point, I'm not defending. I'm just going to give you the facts.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think a lot of the pushback and narrative of negativity towards Thomas was a lot of what you would hear Coach Rule talk through and to the players about not dealing or worrying about background noise.
Sure. Yeah.
I do. Like, I think because it was so public.
Yeah.
And it's like, guys, stop paying attention to the ridiculous stuff. Like, move on.
And I mentioned this earlier. I do think,
he has a good relationship with Thomas, so I'm sure they would talk about him channeling his emotions better.
And I do think fans, myself included, had a hard time separating frustration for the offense and some of the things we saw from Fidone, right? It's not Fidone's fault that some of those plays were called for him, as opposed to the stuff I thought he'd be better at. Like, that's not his fault, but he kind of gets lumped into that. Like, I think I tweeted out at one point, I could go the rest of the season without seeing another swing pass to Thomas Fidone.
Everybody did.
And I believe that, but that's not Fidone's fault. He was called on to do something. He did his best to do it. Like, that's not
we heard it for 4 weeks on the show. And I had to get into the difference between
like a check down versus swing pass and a called play versus
and built-in RPOs.
Which I totally understand.
That was a real thing.
And I totally get that. I was frustrated that I didn't think they used Fidone in places he could be more successful, right? Intermediate passing game, I thought he could have eaten this year. Never really got to saw that consistently. So, like, part of that is frustration with the offense. Part of that's frustration with never seeing the version of Fidone that we thought we were going to see at some point in his career because of the injuries. And part of that's just the season probably didn't go the way we all wanted it to, right? There's a certain point in the season where you think, hey, 8 or 9 wins is on the table, and then that doesn't happen. There's a certain point of the season where you think, oh, maybe Thomas Fidone will finally have his breakout year, and that doesn't really happen. Like, even with Dylan, you go, oh, man, the season started off really great, and then kind of had a lull in the middle. And like, that didn't really, like, none of it really went how we wanted to. And so I think there was just this overall disappointment, and Fidone got lumped into some of that. But I do think the word hate is overblown. Let's get to Asian Wyatt. He wants to talk about Thomas Fidone a little bit here. Wyatt, what's going on, buddy?
How's it going?
Hi, Wyatt. How we doing?
That's so weird.
Wow. Wow. I feel like that's kind of a subtle shot.
Well, that's...
He said, "Wow, that is so weird."
Well,
not Ravi. So,
what's up, Wyatt?
So I think some of the things. I mean, as a partial to Fidone, the way we think about him, I think there's a bit of a history just in general with the tight end position that we just feel like the tight ends here just haven't been utilized as well as they could have. So we don't feel like none of them have really reached their potential. I mean, that goes back to like Stephen Carter and
Kyler Reed.
Kyler Reed. Yep. Even Austin Allen and Vokalek and Jack. I mean, we never even thought Jack Stahl. He's still in the NFL. We never thought he'd do anything because he didn't really do anything here. We can remember.
Yeah.
So I think some of that just subconscious baggage is tied Fidone down a little bit as well.
Hey, that's a good call, Wyatt. Like that really is.
Yeah.
That's a good call because what we experience with the program in general is kind of amplified in that room.
And I think to your point, it's you hear some disappointment in what Wyatt's trying to explain for the development of the tight end position.
100%.
As a whole.
Yeah. And I think Fidone gets lumped in there. And I think we thought with Fidone, like, oh, he's finally going to break through. We got like a super high because we liked a lot of those guys, right? We liked Kyler Reed. He was on the Mackey preseason watch list. We liked Vokalek. We liked Austin Allen. I can't tell you how many times I was like, hey, you have a 6'8" guy in the back of the end zone. Throw it to him.
Yeah.
Throw it to that guy.
I mean, it doesn't help when guys like Reed and Ethan Carter, like they sign pro contracts.
Yeah. I mean, he brought up Jack
Stoll.
Stoll,
He's
still in the NFL. Vokalek got a look in the NFL. Like, there's a lot of these guys. You go, hey, if they're good enough for the NFL, why couldn't we give them the ball? Yeah. And I think that's really frustrating. And I think that frustration will grow if you're right and Thomas Fidone makes money to play football.